welcome to Tales from the Tips. I'm your host, DA, alongside 15-year tour caddy Mick Middlemo. We are just a couple of guys that love to talk about the game of golf, both inside and outside the ropes, but we come at it from a completely different perspective. And clearly, Mick, we've got a different perspective today.
Yeah, we're in a different situation here today, aren't we?
Did we get ourselves in some trouble?
No, you might have. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm always out of trouble.
Well, we've got a couple of wonderful guys. We've rounded out the foursome, Mick. This guy.
He spends
third appearance.
Actually spends more time on this than I do.
I've got his contract out in the truck.
If it's anything like mine, don't worry about it.
After we wrap up in August, he's ours.
Yeah, if it's anything like...
I'm going to start making sure my rider is all...
You get... You want green M&Ms, Coca-Cola, whatever you need.
Yeah, you got me all set with the Coke.
Okay. We got a little bit to talk about.
We do.
World's number one went out and just dominated. So we are now officially on Grand Slam watch.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Already?
11 months out.
All right.
I mean, we got Phil, we got Jordan, and now we got Scotty.
You can forget Phil.
You're forgetting Phil.
He's got more chance. I've got more chance of winning the U.S. Open than he does.
So we will touch on that. Chad's going to chime in on some things here at Eastlake. We're going to talk 3M. I know big field coming up at the 3M. And, of course, we're going to talk about all things Tour Championship and also our good friends at Eastlake and the Eastlake Foundation. So, gentlemen, if you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Always.
I'm ready.
Let's grip it and rip it. All right, Mick. So we are officially on Grand Slam watch. Shinnecock Hills.
Good place.
We got a full foursome today. So how about I do this?
All right.
Let me introduce our guests.
Probably a good idea.
You want to do that?
No, you can.
You like that idea?
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, otherwise they're just going to sit here and...
By the way, Alex,
everyone knows who Alex
out
is.
And played 3 holes with us today.
Unbelievable.
Well, I've got a bad wheel. Otherwise, I would have played the whole lot, but I would have played 18. But
fair enough.
For some reason, I tore my MCL trying to get fit and actually worked as hard as I've ever worked to try to get ready for today. And I actually put myself through a fitness test last Thursday, and then I called him and said, no, I can't play.
Yeah, he bailed.
Because there's no way I would have been able to walk 18 holes. I can play, but I just can't walk the 18.
The effort was there.
The effort was there. I put it in.
Appreciated, yeah.
I put it in.
He shot 1 over for 3 holes.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, he 3-putted.
The last. Yeah, but okay, it's fine. It's green.
So,
fast.
with that, he's making his 3rd appearance on the podcast. He is the executive director of the Tour Championship, Mr. Alex Urban. Welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
And he's making his debut. Hopefully he'll want to come back after this nonsense.
Doubt it.
He is the president and general manager of the Eastlake Golf Club, Mr. Chad Parker. Welcome, Chad.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
We are not a serious podcast. I just want you to know that. I think you've already picked up on that vibe. So what we'll do today, guys, let's talk about what just transpired across the pond. I'm going to open it up to you 3. Scotty Scheffler. World's number 1 dominated out there. What were some of your takeaways from Royal Portrush and the tournament? And I'll kind of let you guys figure out which order you want to go. It's a great scramble we've got here.
I'll go first.
You go first, yeah.
It's starting to feel a little bit like, I mean, does he ever play badly? Like, really? And so I think when he starts tournament started, I think he shot 3 under in the first round. I was already thinking, well, if he's not going to win, he's going to be right there. Because you kind of say, 3 under, 12 at the worst, kind of. Because he almost never goes out and shoots 73 or 1 over, anything like that. It's been a while since he shot over par at all. Oakmont notwithstanding.
Oh, I was going to say that was a tournament.
Everyone shot at least a couple rounds over par there, I would imagine. But it is starting to get that feeling. The consistency is just unbelievable, and it's just I think he led the field in strokes gained approach and strokes gained putting.
Yeah,
you probably can't lead those stats and not win a golf tournament. Would be my guess. Like the math is just you're going to win.
So I was going to say it was his putting for me that just absolutely Friday it was over.
It definitely felt like, and you just kept wondering, I wonder if there's going to be a hiccup. And on Sunday, he makes double, and he birdies the next hole. And it's no different than last year here. Number 8, just I'm pointing at it over there, like you can see
right
it.
Over it. It's right through the window right there.
He hit a bad bunker shot.
Shanked.
It was not a good bunker shot.
Ooh, you can't say that word. Don't say that word.
He did.
La 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 la.
It's on video.
I don't
did
care.
someone ask
He
him
can
how-
say it. Don't put it in my head.
Someone asked him how he did it to describe it, and he said, well, I hit the hosel
Yeah, that's
first."
fine. But don't
And
say
he
that other
described
word.
a cold shank.
Shankosaurus.
And then he
Are
stood
you with
up,
me? Yeah.
And then he stood up on the 9th tee box and hit it to like 3 feet, made birdie. No different than what happened. He makes double on 8 on Sunday, and everyone thought, maybe there's some,
Yeah, he had a 7-shot lead when that
And then
happened.
but still, and then because golf's a game of momentum,
I
whatever,
know.
and then he just birdies the next hole. And that was, to me, I'm not going to sit here and make the Tiger comparison, but Tiger always made birdies after making bogey or double. I think he led the PGA Tour in bounce back for like a whole bunch of seasons. And that's it. Just every time you think that there's like this slimmer of he's going to mess up, he just closes the door.
If there was any other player leading that tournament by 7 shots and made double, people would probably sit up and go, ooh, this could be interesting now. I was like,
We're
he's probably
witnessing,
going to win by 5 still.
We've started, to me, it's like we're witnessing like an artist at work at this
Yeah.
point. Like what he's doing out there is not, nobody else is doing it. And you hear him talking about it. Rory's talking about it. Like the level of golf that he's playing is just.
But there's
it's
something
just on
so
another
different about him
planet.
and so unique about him is that what he can switch off when he leaves the golf course and just go to his family life and has his hobbies outside of golf and all that sort of stuff. This doesn't consume him like it consumed Tiger.
Yeah.
Tiger was consumed by winning majors and trying to beat Jack's record. He don't care. He says he doesn't. Now, whether or not, I'm sure there's a burning desire inside to win a lot more tournaments and things like that. But like when he leaves the golf course, it's like he leaves the golf course.
Well, I think he said he cares, and but it doesn't define how he feels about himself
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Which it's a very healthy relationship with competition. It's hard to. You're right. A lot of guys get consumed with it. It's fascinating to watch. I think he's becoming a really interesting character study. Just as you watch any of the greats in any sport, Tiger or Roger Federer or Djokovic, any of these guys that have become really, really insanely good at what they do.
And I heard a really good comparison with him. Pete Sampras was one of those guys, unassuming as can be, but was an absolute stone killer when he was out on the tennis courts. But afterwards, have you heard of Pete Sampras since he retired?
He just plays golf out in L.A. That's all he does. Plays golf at Riviera all the time.
The other one, and if you think about it, Jimmy Johnson. And I'm not talking about the golf or the football coach. I'm talking about the NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
Literally, you had all these guys run around. Dale Jr. after Dale Sr.'s passing, you had all these guys running around. They all wanted the headlines, but there was Jimmy Johnson just winning title after title after title after title, race after race after race after race. Now do you hear anything from Jimmy Johnson? Besides, he's a phenomenal member I've heard at Quail Hollow. That's about it.
It's a good place to join.
That's not a bad place. So I guess one of the things, and Chad, I'm going to kind of look at you on this one from a setup at Royal Port Rush. From a golf course aesthetic standpoint and from a club standpoint, what did you think about their job, the job that they did out there?
Well, I had the pleasure of playing there last year, so was looking forward very much to watching it. And when you play over across the pond, the greens are going to be slower, which I think benefits better putters.
Yep.
It's so Scotty had a leg up already. He can be aggressive with lines. There's not as much break, and so I think that the way that it was set up, and of course the wind can definitely play a huge role. I think I read somewhere that they had the wind in every direction the first 3 days at one point. So then your draw on the round can determine how you play. But I think on balance, it was set up really fair, and you saw people teeing off with irons. You saw people trying to bomb drivers. Like 17's a good example. If it's downwind, you can drive the green, but left of that green is a big red X. But if it's into the wind, it's just find the fairway, and it's hopefully a birdie hole if the flag's not on the left. But so I think that knowing what it takes to get a golf course ready, I thought it played great. It played great the day I was there. I mean, it was in phenomenal shape. That was a year in advance, and you could tell the members were proud of hosting. The merchandise was in the store already. You know, the vibe was already there. The staff was already talking about it. The town was definitely talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, what, 285,000 people for the week or something? It's nuts.
Not a big town either.
No. No. I just kept thinking logistically, in his world, where are they parking?
Yeah.
How am I getting the rest?
Where are they staying?
Where are they staying? How are they
Yeah.
cleaning out the porta
Yeah.
potties?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, did they run out of bangers and mash or the concession stand? Where are they cooking all that stuff?
Yeah.
285,000 people for the week. That's crazy.
It's a big number.
That's a lot of
So-
Guinness.
It's a lot of Guinness.
That is a lot of
lot
Guinness.
of
Yeah.
Guinness.
That's a lot. There's a
Fair.
steak in every Guinness, so just you know.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought, to answer your question, I thought it was great. I thought it was very compelling, you know. But knowing how the greens typically would putt, they can only get them so fast.
Yeah.
You know, because of it's fescue and you know it's 65 degrees maybe.
Yeah, they avoided that weather because they were talking like Sunday was supposed to be an horrific day with wind and rain, and they just didn't eventuate. Because I was looking at the weather for it, just didn't eventuate.
I think doing the weather forecast over there is probably
Oh,
pretty
it's a-
easy because you just be wrong pretty much all the
Exercise
time.
your
Yeah.
utility.
You're just going to
Yeah.
be wrong.
Yeah.
You're just going to be wrong.
Well, it's not so bad here either. It's like here is just like it's hot, and then there's going to be an afternoon thunderstorm.
It either
Yeah.
and the
It's just
thunderstorm either
and,
hits you or
and it's going to be
doesn't.
hot,
Yeah.
and another afternoon thunderstorm. So
And probably humid too.
yeah, and a little bit humid. Yeah.
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 No, though I think we got very lucky with the weather, especially the weekend.
Yes.
You know, yes, they dodged some rain Thursday and Friday, but yeah, to your point, the morning afternoon wave effect. You know, and I think back to the year that Tiger was out there. I believe it snowed. That didn't wipe out half the field. You had a really competitive field when you look at the guys that finished towards the top. I think we had some names that nobody's heard of, which you always get with the Open Championship. But the big boys kind of rose up and started playing some big boy golf. It's great to see Xander back on it. You know, when I'm looking at, and we're going to touch on this in a little bit. When I look at the top 30 coming right now, Xander's not even, doesn't even have a shot with where he's at. So those are the things, like looking at some of those names going, okay, they're playing better. You know, my pick, Victor, horrible weekend. Your revised pick over there, Mr. Tommy Fleetwood, should have stuck with Rory, by the
Me?
way. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
You would have made a few more shekels on that.
That's
one.
fine.
That's all right. By the way, I lead him by over 4
I was
million.
wondering, yeah.
Yeah, he's got one small little chance.
What's
He,
that?
by the way, Captain go out on a limb over there, picked Scotty to win the FedEx. So
Not a bad start though, is it?
it's
I
not a
mean-
bad pick. I have Rory, so I'm not. It's not like I
So
was
when
far
so
out
when
on
he
that
wins
limb.
the FedEx,
He's got a
do I get
decent-
the $10 extra million? Does that count as mine as well? So
Well,
then I get
whatever
a
his
win.
yeah, then
Okay,
you,
cool.
purse is, yeah.
Oh,
it's the purse.
It's all over then.
Yeah, so.
It's over.
Rory's had a decent track record around this place.
I
Yeah, he
was
goes
gonna
all
say,
right.
He's
He
got
does.
5 of them.
I like,
on
you
his
know,
man. I kind of
yeah,
I like it.
he's
I
pretty
like
good.
it. So it was funny. So I heard a little conversation going on over the weekend. Player of the year, and I know I didn't put this in the show notes for you guys, but I'll throw a little curveball in there. Who is your player of the year if it was to wrap up today?
There's only one.
I mean, I think right now it would be Scotty.
Based on 2
Yeah, probably.
majors?
But I think if Rory were to win the FedEx Cup and you have a players and a tour championship,
It throws
you're
down
gonna
there.
and a win out at Pebble.
and Pebble, which is another big, obviously signature event. Like I think now you have something to talk about. I think maybe if you look at Scotty's, I don't think Scotty's finished worse than 25th this season, something like that. That's
Something
like
like that,
Tiger
yeah.
2000
I think-
stuff.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah, that is.
if you're looking at the full body of work outside of the wins, just like in terms of consistency.
Yeah.
If you recall in Q1, everyone was talking about Scotty, like, is he slowing down? And like he was recovering from cutting his hand,
Yeah.
if you recall. And then once he was
the
able
wine,
to hit
the
balls,
wine
like,
glass making rolling pasta.
once
Yeah,
he
I don't
once
think
he was
he's ever
able
doing
to
that again.
once he was able
No.
to dial up his practice again, he reminded everyone why he's who he is.
He
So.
could spend some of that $90 million on a new rolling pin. I think.
Yeah, hard to spot some pasta.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine.
Another guy
Chad's
that,
great chef.
Another guy that had it pretty much locked up his spot on the Ryder Cup, Harris English. And Harris did it, and we talked about it, and we had this on the last podcast, so tune in to episode 36. Mick took a phone call from Eric Larson right during the middle of our podcast to inform
pro.
us that the putting coach was actually going to carry the bag. Harris English is playing some really good golf right now.
Yes, he is.
The one guy that I do not want to run into right now, if I was thankfully the Ryder Cup is 2 months out, Robert McIntyre.
I really like that guy. He's very likable.
Yeah,
guy.
he really
Something about
is.
the Scots, I think. But to go back to Harris, I mean, there's not a better golf swing
Oh,
on
so
tour.
pure.
I love
Put it
watching.
really well, too.
I love watching Harris.
Great putter.
It's a
Great
lot
guy.
of Bulldogs
and a great
are
guy.
playing
You
well.
couldn't meet a nicer guy.
Agreed.
He's well, and look at a lot of those Bulldogs. You got Russell
Yeah.
Henley playing great golf this year,
He
and
he
Sepp.
is sneaky playing good.
He really, I think he's up
He's
to like
not-
5th in the world or something.
Yeah, he's
like
not
that.
getting much. He doesn't get much press and stuff like for as well as he's
That's
playing.
the way he likes it, too.
Really,
He's-
really good.
Much like Scotty, he's a very understated guy. He likes to go out and take care of business, and
Yep.
which is really cool.
Yep.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Russell to me, like, and when we touch on the Tour Championship, we're going to talk about the guys that are currently sitting in 30th. But I do want I'm going to put you guys on the marker right now to say who do you think will win the FedEx Cup. But one of those guys that I'm looking at, Russell Henley, has to be on that list, especially given that there is no strokes going into this. Everybody is teeing up flat, straight out. The way he has been playing, I think this course, I think I'm going to use your term, courses for horses or horses
For courses.
Yeah.
Horses for horses would be very different. That
yeah.
would be more
horses
like,
for courses.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
like
weird.
a Kentucky
That one-
Derby
That'd be kinda
type
weird,
thing.
that
Yeah.
one.
That one, that guy right there.
Oh yeah.
Russell Henley, you could put at the front gate here on Thursday and start handing out programs, and no one would know who he was.
Absolutely.
Except for
You
the
got a few
Georgia fans.
Bulldog fans.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the Bulldog,
yeah,
you'd have the
yeah,
Bulldog
yeah.
fans might walk in, but I guarantee
Georgia
the rest of the
fans.
people walk past him and go, "Hey, thanks, that'd be nice, that'd be nice, that'd be." They wouldn't know it. They wouldn't know. That's how unassuming he is.
He's got a great pedigree too. I mean, I believe he won a Corn Ferry Tour event as an amateur.
He did.
And he won really right out the gate. I remember he won in Hawaii like really early on in his career. And he's been out there for over a decade.
Yeah, when he
playing
started,
really
when he
good
started
golf.
on Corn Ferry, he was a player straight
Yeah.
away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
He was like
whole
he was like Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson at the Monday
Yeah.
qualifier to get onto the web.com tour, and then before winning, and then going on to win on the PGA
Yeah, he
tour.
won. I think he may still have the record for the most wins in a season. Or they win. They automatically qualify for the PGA
Automatic
Tour
three.
winner.
No, there's one guy way back, and I can't remember his name. Before they had the promotional, he won
Yeah.
4 times in 1 year. I can't remember who that was, but I will. That would my memory.
That'd
will
be a
jogged.
good piece of trivia.
Yeah.
All right, so gentlemen, I've got this question for you. And Mick, this is not, this is a current player. Best current player to have not won a major, now that the major season has officially wrapped up.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I do. I would like to put you on the spot on that one.
Lee Westwood.
Okay.
So he qualifies a current.
Well,
I mean,
he was on the leaderboard
Yeah, I
this
mean,
week.
yeah, I mean, he
technically
was up
he
there.
did qualify for the Open.
He did qualify for the Open, but I mean, even before he went to the other tour, that other thing, he was probably the one for me.
Okay.
I don't want to steal the answer you just gave, but Henley would be on my list. You know, he has the course record here. He shot the low round last year, which, you know, got lost in the 10 shot. You know, he chipped in for eagle to shoot 62.
Yeah.
Who held the record before that?
Zach
Was it Zach?
shot 60 in 2007.
I thought it
Or
was.
2007, the year before we switched to Bermuda grass.
Okay.
There you go.
What about you?
Well, I'm not going to pick the same person.
Well, you can.
You could.
I mean,
Best
be
player, because I
boring,
don't
but you
think
can.
when we have this discussion, it's like best doesn't just mean you've been around for a long time and have a pedigree. Who's the best golfer that doesn't have a major? It's between two guys for me, both similar. I think Vic Hovland is on this list. Just given what he's in his young career, he's already lifted a FedEx Cup over my shoulder here. He's won some really big events. The other guy is a guy that I continue to remain super bullish on, and I think he may be the most talented player in the world, which is Ludwig Oberg.
Yeah.
And he's a young guy. I would say he's got plenty of chances to win majors, but he may be the best player alive without a major championship.
And I left Ludwig off my list, and only because this is really his second full season.
Yes.
But I do agree with you. I mean, he is one of the most talented. I mean, as a rookie, you make a Ryder Cup, and then you go out and dominate in a Ryder Cup. Yes, his playing partner is my guy, and you touched that, Victor Hovland. Now, you could easily say the other guy that has lifted a FedEx Cup right here on this green, well, not this exact green, but you know what I mean, Patrick Cantlay.
That's a great choice.
Max Homa. another one that hasn't.
Throw Ricky in there. Go on. I know you're going to look at me and say, my boy Ricky. I'm good friends
I
with
don't
Ricky,
know.
so.
I think Ricky's a
It's a good pick.
a good pick. I mean, no,
He's
Tommy
starting
Fleetwood.
to play really
Did
well
he-
too.
he-
Ricky's
he
starting to
finished-
play well.
Ricky finished like in the top 3 or 4 that one year in all the major championships. It might have been the year he won the Players, 2015.
Yeah. He to me looks like he's swinging a lot better, starting to play a lot better
Yeah.
too. So
I thought about that the year that Wyndham beat him out in L.A. That where basically he collapsed that last round. I mean, he collapsed on his own in that last round. Ricky would be there, but I look at some of the guys that literally have even a bigger pedigree than Ricky does. Like Tommy Fleetwood, for example. I mean, he's got 7 or 8 DP World, can't win over here, but he doesn't have a major either.
No.
So, like,
He'd be on my list for sure.
Yeah.
there-
he
there
would
are-
be on this list for sure. Definitely.
it's funny because as you throw out the question, and it's a pretty simple question, but then you start really getting into it and you start looking at, okay, who really hasn't won? Now, there's some of these guys, like, I can't remember the last time Patrick Cantley was literally in it to win a major. Like, competitively was in it to win. At least Tommy's been there a couple times. I mean, Victor's been there a couple times. Ludwig, I mean,
yeah, Ludwig was
right there
at the
last year,
Masters.
last year at the
and
Masters.
you got to understand that the more that you're there and the more you don't succeed, I think sometimes it puts a lot more pressure on certain guys. Certain guys can react to that pressure. I think certain guys don't react well to that pressure. If another major missed, I mean, you only play 4 a year. Well, unless you think it's 6, of course, we're not going to go down that path. He thinks it's 6.
You want to go down there?
Nah, I don't
you
want
to go down that road?
Because now you're definitely going to be told you're wrong.
Well, he already did tell me that I was wrong.
Fact.
So
Sorry.
It's all right.
I don't remember that, but it sounds like something I
count-
would have done.
I count the players as the 5th, and I, as a now Atlanta resident, I consider the Tour Championship the 6th. This is more like when I look at the biggest events on the Tour schedule, and it kind of leads into what you guys are doing here with the Tour Championship. This is the hardest tournament to get into, and it is going to be the hardest tournament to win.
But then maybe there should be something like you have the majors and then you have something, how many premium events
Yeah.
did you win? And maybe there should be a title on premium events.
Listen,
Because
just-
this is certainly one of them, trust me. I know.
Just because this
has been
podcast just declares that there's 6 majors isn't going to be.
No,
we're not going to change.
I
the,
don't think.
you
I
know,
don't
the-
think the RNA and the USGA and the PGA are going to go. Oh, look! Listen to Dave. He's right.
The USGA is not going to do anything for us the way you bashed them after the U.S. Open. So.
At Oakmont?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably right.
Yeah. Okay.
Major championship is a construct, right? Like it's people agreeing. Journalists really. Like, hey, this is a major, and players agreeing themselves. To me, does it get mentioned in your major accomplishments? So, I would say both your 2 tournaments matter because if you talk about Ricky Fowler, can you name me all of his wins? You might be able to, but you can definitely tell me he's won a Players Championship.
Yeah, well, you know he's one of the players.
100%.
Yeah.
And in the same vein, you can tell me all of Billy Horschel's wins.
Mm-hmm.
Probably couldn't name all of them, but he won a FedEx Cup here.
Yep.
Like that's so to me, if you're in that category, whatever construct you want to use, it's listed as your main career
You know exactly,
accomplishments.
but you know that
Yeah.
you know you've won a Players. You know you've won a
Exactly,
yeah,
and that
that's it.
that matters in the historical pantheon of golf, however you want to
Absolutely it does.
declare it.
But it also could evolve. You know, if you look at the way that the events are structured now, and then you have one a month, and assuming that format continues, and the status of those events, the players and the Tour Championship continues to rise up, players will start talking about it, which means the media will start talking about it, which could mean, because I get the question all the time from our owner, Tom Cousins. He's like, when does the Tour Championship become a major? And I said, well, you cannot deem it such.
Right.
That's going to take some time. It's going to take history. It's going to take winners. It's going to take moments.
Yeah.
And so I think that it could happen, but it's going to be more organic. It's not going to be just like a check the box and.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
If
well
there
said.
was going to be a 5th major, I'd say this would be it for certain. Because as we speak about, this is the hardest one to get into. You have to earn your way into this one, harder than anything. It's 30 players, and once you get here, I think that would be a great way to end the year is having a 5th major. I really do. Be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and it's always been talked about the players being that 5th one. Now, as they've moved the schedule around, that one being in May, I do like the current schedule, the way it looks.
Same.
Literally, you start in March,
Yep.
and golf is relevant from a competitive, a very, very competitive standpoint, starting in March all the way through August now.
Right.
You know, obviously we wrap up the 4th major in July, and now we've got a month and a half before, but we've got the playoffs.
And then an international event after that. You've got either a Ryder Cup or a President's Cup in any given year, which is
it lines
it's
up.
a wonderful calendar. Yeah,
It's great for the sport, I think, and I think if you look at it from the fans' point of view, if you're trying to market the game or the sport of professional golf, the timing matters. You know, the fact that the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup are every other year matters. The fact that that Augusta's in April, the players, once that becomes like front of mind, I think that is what will establish it. And I think that seems to be working, not competing with football. Can't compete with football.
Having worked for the PGA Tour for 12 years, my brain works in the golf calendar. I remember when I got married, I was like, oh yeah, well that's RBC Heritage Week, and she was like, I don't know what that means. What are you talking about? Like, it's a week after the Masters.
The week after the Masters. Yeah.
Come on, how do you not know that?
Everybody knows that.
And I was like, maybe
The
I'm
lighthouse.
taking,
I mean, come on.
maybe I'm taking for granted how well people know the schedule, but I think that's the point.
Did you get married that week?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
But I
no,
think
no,
I think that if you're
it was
selling
a week
the
out.
product,
It was right after that though.
if you're selling the product and you're going to carve time out of your schedule to do something that or attend or watch or whatever, having the consistency matters.
100%.
I mean, that's why the Masters started in 1930. You used to be able to buy tickets on the street, and of course, you still kind of can do it if you want to go to jail.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think they like that very
I
much.
mean, but they were paying people to come, and so that took time though, and and time for people to remember the shots and the holes and all that. So
Well, the
I think
majors-
it's possible.
Well, the majors were the USAM and the
US Am.
Yeah,
isn't it?
when
the
Bobby
British
Jones won
Am
1930.
Forever
until
and ever,
it was
yeah.
not
Forever.
until it wasn't.
Yeah, until the PGA Championship came along, the Masters came along, and then all of a sudden, at some point, that's a great question. When did that happen?
Well, and
Don't know.
Yeah,
and I know
that's
we
a great
were
question.
before we started recording live. We were talking about you've got the creators out here right now playing a play-in, so to speak, for that last spot on the Wednesday before the Tour Championship starts. That's the group that is going to help from a media perspective. From what we do, is going to help carry that narrative forward.
Yes.
Like when you're growing up and you're out on the range or you're out on a putting green and you're putting to win the FedEx Cup, that's when it changes.
Yes.
I mean, we all grew up, and I think we're all pretty much in that same area. I grew up playing. I wanted to play and wanted to win the Masters.
Yeah.
I wanted to qualify in the U.S. Open. Year after year after year of trying to qualify to get to that. That's one of those things that eventually, it can change. And I think Brian Rolapp is the guy from the PGA side that is going to be able to help carry that message, that new vision forward. I mean, look at what he's done with the NFL. I mean, yeah, you know Roger Goodell's name. Brian Rolapp has been a massive force behind what the media product is and the marketing of the tour. And I remember running one of the radio networks at the time, and I had a rep come to me and go, why are there so many commercials targeted towards women? I said, well, first of all, who buys a lot of apparel? Who makes decisions in their family around apparel and buying? And the NFL did a great job of marketing to women, and then getting them involved in fantasy football, and then continuing to get them involved in, now it's easy, Amazon Prime. I mean, you think about it, like every house has Amazon Prime coming to it nowadays. My wife is the one that controls that. She's now has, hey, oh, by the way, the game's on Amazon Prime. Like, great, thanks. At least she knows where it's at before I do. So, okay. So we'll start. We'll get away from this. The one last question, and I'm gonna put you guys on record right now. 11 months away. Does Scotty get it done in his first career Grand Slam at Shinnecock? His first go at it.
And it would be very Scotty-like to do it, because everyone's all the pressure
that
and all that
course-
stuff. It would be.
Is that course designed for him?
Is hitting fairways important?
Absolutely.
Then yeah, I mean yes.
He drives it so good.
That was my big takeaway last week. Is you see all these guys. I mean, how many guys have 195 ball speed now, and that's all they're talking about. And Scotty's it felt like it said 178 every single time he hit it, and it was dead center of the fairway, and he hit it close, and he made the putts. Like that works everywhere. Shinnecock.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're playing.
I said it, and you guys made you over there made fun of me during the U.S. Open.
Is he talking to me?
When I said that Scotty's biggest challenge will be the U.S. Open, and I'm going to go back to something that Chad said earlier. It is the greens, and it's the green speed, and how they trick out those greens, and the good putters like Scotty will always have a difficult time with it, and that is what I'm going to say. He can hit the quality shots into those greens. It'll be has the weather and the agronomy played a factor into him winning it. I will say, is he on, yes or no?
I'll say yes.
Chad?
I'm going to reserve judgment.
He's holding out already on us.
What a
Look at
beautiful
this.
way to sit on the fence. That is a very good answer.
Well, I'll
Chad.
say no then.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. He's got.
I'll say yes.
I am going to say no as well. So
There you go.
we're split.
We'll have to.
Slim-
We'll have to Monday morning quarterback that one here.
Slim, you want to be the vote?
You want to go to Slim?
Slim
the
wanna
time,
be-
he gives
Slim-
us
He's
the
got
yes.
thumbs up.
Okay.
Slim says yes. Well, that's Slim. Thumbs
right.
up, yes.
Now that's something more important for you guys.
jeez.
Let's turn our focus towards the march to the FedEx playoff. Top 70 make it to Memphis. Top 100 earning their cards. 3M Open this week in the Twin Cities. Some names that we need, that need to have a good stretch. You ready for this? Our guy Ricky Fowler, like we talked about. Christian Bezuidenhout. Really good tournament. Now he made it out here last year to Eastlake.
Yep.
He's currently outside the top 70. Adam Scott.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You always pick on the Australians.
Well, because isn't it? Wait, I think you said it last week. If I'm hanging S, it means I like you.
I'm going to text him and let him know.
Okay. Joel Damon. Speaking of,
That's
the
your buddy.
caddy carousel continues.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Joel and Gino break up.
A lot of tears. There was a lot of tears in that video.
There was a lot of thoughts.
Well, I've been fired like 10 times. I don't think I ever cried that much. I don't think I cried at all. Especially when Robert Allenby fired me. Probably didn't cry then.
Did you?
Am I allowed to mention that?
Did Robert really fire you, or
No,
did
I
you
quit.
fire Robert?
The media says I was fired, but I know I quit. I know I dropped the bag after 9 holes.
Tune into episode 3 if you guys want to hear that story. 2015 RBC Canadian.
Glen Abbey.
Max Homa currently sits at 102.
He's been battling it a little bit this year. Some big swing changes and equipment
Yeah, he made a lot of
changes
swing
and
changes
A lot of
and-
changes
yeah,
at once
yeah.
is always tough.
Yeah.
He looked like he was playing a little bit better this last week I watched him a little bit at the Barracuda.
Yeah.
That's the difficult part to me that I still, as a caddy and being around it for as long as I was, and you probably guys, when they start making wholesale swing changes when they're actually playing well, it aggravates me to death. It's Ian Baker Finch is the perfect example. I mean, you talk about a golf swing, you talk about a guy that could play golf when he won the Open Championship, and then he just got so obsessed with length that he wanted to change his swing, and he couldn't hit that fairway. I mean, he couldn't. He hit it out of bounds at St Andrews.
He
on
went
the first.
left, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's tough.
and that's impossible to do.
Yeah.
Even if you tried to do it, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so when I watch some of these guys that, they're playing so well, and then they try to change their swings, it's really, really fascinating to me to see.
So the last one on my list, Victor Perez, sitting at 106. I literally thought Victor Perez was in the top 70 with the way he has played this year. Surprised to see him sitting at 106. Couple guys that made obviously Ryan Gerard made a huge move after winning the Barracuda this past week, and then also Eric Van Rooyen up 19 spots. He is now inside the top 100. Not a big impressive field up at the.
Still very important though. Very important.
This is the make or break.
This is
few
for a
weeks
lot
here.
of players. This is it. This is a lot. This is a major for a lot of players this week.
So as you guys are putting things together for the Tour Championship, what are you looking for from this week? Like, what players do you have your eye on? What are things that you guys are looking at from that perspective?
I don't think there's necessarily the field is something I don't worry too much about.
You can't control it.
No, I cannot control it. So that's a huge piece. And 2, I know we're getting the 30 best guys. So however that shakes out is great. Now there's always a couple of guys. I'm sitting here looking at the standings right now. I'm looking at guys outside the top 30 that would be fun to have in the field because I know they're fan favorites. And you've named a few of them. I look at Jason Day sitting at 35, former world number 1, major champion. He's had a pretty good season, I think.
Former next door neighbor.
Oh, well, love that. What a claim to fame. Xander, you
used to play mini
mentioned
golf
that he got to live next to Mick.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Yeah, we should all.
We used to
aspire
play
get-
mini golf together in Orlando. That's where we'd go
That's
practice.
That's awesome.
Him and Jared Lyle.
Jared Law, yeah.
Matt Fitzpatrick at 42. Obviously, he played pretty well last weekend, and I think has gained a lot of followers from Full Swing.
Yeah.
He's had some. I've really enjoyed his episodes, getting to know
I think you'll make it.
how he operates. Siwoo Kim, I think, is kind of a sneaky favorite ever since I think his personality really showed at the President's
Skipped ahead.
Cup.
I think he read my notes, by the way.
I love Siwoo. Spieth at 48. There's a guy that, like, again, I think
Yeah.
he snuck in as the 30th 2 years ago, and
Yeah, he
we
did.
love
He
having
just got-
Jordan
he
in
got
this
right
field.
in the last year.
Jordan's obviously won here. He is one of the people that people will come off the couch to
And
come
a-
watch golf, and
There's a good guy right there.
I think everyone's just waiting to see when are the putts going to drop for Jordan.
How often?
And it's going to happen.
Do you go-
I'm
one
gonna
quick
put
question,
that
just getting off
camp.
topic. Do you guys go to other events? I mean, obviously you said 12 months ago you were at Port Rush. Like, do you go to other events and look and see what they're doing and say, hey, do we need to do this? Like, do you go to the other FedEx? Like, will you go to Memphis and stuff like that? Or you obviously that's probably 2 or 3 weeks before here. Do you spend more time here?
We have done that. It's not something we do every year. I know that a few years back we sent our food and beverage team to Memphis to look at some of the things they were doing for the players specifically, some of the player dining ideas and how they wanted to execute it. So we went up and spent some time there. Our superintendent, we have the tour comes to us. So plan, comes here, and so he has a dedicated resource from an agronomy standpoint. And so that is not really a huge concern for us. But operationally, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll go just as a fan,
Yeah.
just to say, hey, I saw this or that at this tournament, and maybe want to think about it.
Okay. I love that Memphis event. I love that.
Well,
event.
and I would love.
I like
to-
that golf course.
I
really
would
do.
love to go there. Tough 2 weeks out
Yeah.
from our event for me to leave. Now, that being said, for the rest of the year, I try to make it to a few. I almost always go to the Players. That's always a big gathering point just for the industry. And then make it a point to make it to a couple others, and ones that would have something going on that could be attributable to something we could do here. We're only open 5 days a year here. We don't have the beauty of, like, I think about, like, the Atlanta Braves. They've got 80 plus home games to try things and figure it out.
Yeah.
We've got 5 days to figure things out. So
Yeah.
we have to lean on the expertise from other events. Yeah. What's really cool is that the way our model works, my operations lead Justin and my services lead Caitlin and some of the other people on my staff, they support other big events. So they go to the Truist Championship, or they go to the Players, or they go to the President's Cup, or the Century,
Okay.
and all these events. And so they'll learn things there and bring that knowledge back to us.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of shared pot of knowledge that exists within, especially the events that the PGA Tour owns and operates, but other events as well. So, like, that's another piece too that we try to learn, take best practices from.
Yeah.
A couple other ones. Harry Hall, Akshay Bhatia, Spieth, Cam Young is on the outside
Yep.
looking in. Tom Hoagie, who's played here.
Tom Kim.
Tom Kim, Jacob Bridgman, Brian Campbell, winner this year, 2-time winner this year, literally is on the outside looking in. So a lot of names looking at. One of the questions I'm going to ask you guys as we get into this. Who do you think, and I can give you guys the current 30, obviously Scotty, Rory. Now, this was also a surprise to me. Who would you think is number 3 on the list? And then you can't go back
I
to
didn't
your,
even.
yeah.
I didn't just look.
He's cheating.
Sepp Straka. And Mick pokes fun at Sepp on the podcast.
No, Sepp Straka's
he shows up every 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys that in their careers, that's what they've done. They get hot for a stretch of 4 or 5 weeks, and then they go cold for 4 or 5 weeks. But in that 4 or 5 weeks, you can do some damage.
Yeah. Now,
You know.
this isn't world rankings. This is just FedEx. Russell Henley's 4th. This one did surprise me, and I know Mick's going to make fun of me because I should know this. Justin Thomas.
He's had a
Fifth.
sneaky great season.
He's had
He
a
has
sneaky
had
good
a
season.
Really good
if,
season.
If
Yeah.
you want to know a sneaky pick out here for the Tour Championship would be Justin, because at some point he's going to make some of those putts. It feels like every week, even at the Open last week, he had like 4 or 5 that were literally sitting on the edge. One week those all go in,
Yep.
and he wins.
But
I remember having this conversation with Ernie Els one time, and he was saying, like, the best putters in the world will lip out more than anyone
Yeah.
because they're all around the hole.
They all look like they're going in.
all right there, so they're going to have more lip outs. That's
Yep.
not unlucky. They're hitting good putts. So.
And usually on the high side,
And
so
he
they're
will
taking
be,
the edge.
and like you said, if he gets hot, I mean, he can turn it on.
But the guy that we just talked about, Harris English, if you would have said, if we said, hey guys, put $100 down in the middle of this table, take your pick, JT or Harris English, who's had a better season by FedEx standpoint, would you have gone with JT or would you have gone with Harris? I know where I'm going.
Get your 100 out then. No, I would have gone. Gone
Yeah.
Harris. He ain't going to pull 100 out. Trust me.
Okay, Ben Griffin, obviously not a good week out at the Open for Ben. U.S. Open winner J.J. Spawn, Tommy Fleetwood, Keegan Bradley having a really good Captain America's.
Is he going to play in the Ryder Cup?
I am going to say yes.
There we go, gentlemen.
I don't think he will unless he qualifies.
Yeah.
I would agree
Well,
with that.
right now he is not in the top 6.
It's like 10th.
Yeah.
He's heading in the right direction, though. Honestly, I would love him to play in the Ryder Cup because he would be like the Ian Poulter of the US team. He's a bulldog. He would go after it. I think he would be an awesome player in the Ryder Cup, even if as captain.
So do you think? Let me ask you this: does Brian Harmon make the team? He's sitting at 12.
No.
I'd agree. Best bench is long.
Yeah. Long.
You need
Yeah, they do a ton of analysis. Like you were talking about setup of the golf course. They know the lengths that these guys are making birdie from.
That was
typically.
one of the more interesting things that I'd heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Was the way what you were describing there, and just it was like how we set up, how you guys set up the golf course,
Yeah.
and you know how many birdies are if the wind's blowing this way, pin placements and things like that. That to me was phenomenal.
Mav McNeely. Mav had a good weekend. Andrew Novak, Corey Connors,
Good seasons.
Ludwig, Robert McIntyre, Shane Lowry. Again, right now, that Ryder Cup team is shaping up on both sides.
Should be fun.
But their
Are you guys going to
horses-
that?
No, I don't think so. I'll enjoy watching that one with the family, I think.
Yeah.
That's going to be a scene. I
That's gonna be
imagine.
wild.
It's
3
gonna
days
be-
of
I've,
really good-
I've had the pleasure of caddying up there. That is one wild environment, let me tell you.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to be on the grounds up there. We were talking about it earlier. We were both at the same Ryder Cup back in
Oakland Hills.
at Oakland Hills. Yeah,
was there
So
too.
is
Yeah,
so is
so is
Chad.
Chad.
I
you're the only one that didn't make that
was
event.
probably relying on the President's Cup at that stage, just
Hoping to make it. Okay,
just in case we ever win one.
Nick Taylor, Colin Morikawa. Again,
Colin's a good sneaky.
another disappointing major though for Colin. I mean, and again, news coming out. I don't think he's going to retain his 2-week caddy that he had on the back. Mick, I'm telling you,
I got to start getting fit. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Brian Harmon, Patrick Cantley, Hideki, Sam Burns. The guy that Mick can't even pronounce his name, Chris Gotterup. Chris is now there.
He actually won me some money this week in my DraftKings.
Oh, you didn't even know who he was last week after winning the Scottish Open.
I won my DraftKings fantasy this week.
There you go.
Justin Rose, Victor, Lucas Glover, Daniel Berger, Ryan Gerard with his win at Barracuda.
Justin Rose will make it.
Okay. Sunjay M. and Ryan Fox. That's your top 30 with the guys that you had mentioned.
Sungjae, he always plays pretty
Who
well.
makes it and who is out?
We'll know soon.
So guys that are right there, Brian Campbell, Jacob Bridgman, Dietrich, Jason Day, Tom Hoagie, Cam, Xander, Fitzmagic, Siwoo, Harry Hall, Akshay, Minwoo, and Jordan.
It's a lot of names.
How about Daniel Berger at 27?
You know,
It's been a nice
I don't-
comeback for him.
You talking about the ones that are outside?
yeah, outside coming in.
I think Xander does. I mean, I think he's played well here before and after the renovation, and he played. I mean, they showed
He
him a
loves
lot.
this place.
He does, and he. Back to your point about putting.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have made some putts,
Oh.
he hit the ball really well on the weekend at Port Rush.
Yeah, he
And
did.
just
Yeah.
didn't have anything fall for him.
Yep.
Tom Dietrich's had a really good season. I think I could see him.
One at
sneaking in.
Waste Management.
He's had a really good year. Minwoo, though, he's kind of a hot and cold has been a hot and cold guy. Siwoo and Fitzpatrick jump off the page here for me.
Yeah,
and
I agree
Scheffler.
with Fitzpatrick,
Siwoo?
too. Yeah.
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 All right, so let's turn our focus. We're gonna get to know Chad a little bit better.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
So before we get into Eastlake and the Tour Championship, how did this start? How did your love of this game start? Was there someone special? Was it how did you get involved in the game of golf?
So the club, I grew up in Florence, Alabama, and the club was called Florence Country Club, and the pro there was a guy named Chris Burns, and he had a magnificent junior program and created an environment that you wanted to compete and play golf, and so I fell in love just by going to his clinics, and then I started working in the industry. I was telling somebody a couple of days ago, Stuart Sink and I grew up together. We grew up at the same club, and we did not have a driving range. The facility did not have a practice range. Barely had a chipping green and almost had a putting green, but it had 18 holes. And so to learn golf, we went out and played golf, and we always competed, but he was in the membership was welcoming, and they allowed kids to play at certain times, and there was a big group of kids that played there. And so you wanted to be around it because you had your buddies who were playing, and it was reasonably affordable if you didn't go into the clubhouse and order cheeseburgers. And so that's where my love of the game started.
So what was your playing career like against Stewart?
Not very good.
You only have to say you beat him once. It's all that matters.
Oh yeah, we went to different high schools, but we were best friends and still are. And we played against each other in high school. So I probably clipped him a few times along the way. I could hold my own for a while.
Okay, so then did you go on to play in college? How did your career path shape then going into, obviously the business side of our awesome business?
Right. So I was not good enough to play D1. I wasn't recruited to play D1. I was recruited to play in some of the smaller schools, but I decided that I wanted to go ahead and enter a program at Mississippi State, professional golf management program. When I started there was 4 universities that had it. It was a business degree in golf, and so I decided then instead of trying to play, and then I just decided to do that. And so there was a lot of competition there because there was a lot of guys like me that were studying golf, so there was plenty of opportunities to play. I just was never on a team. And the way that major worked is you could not transfer in. So once you get there, your 4.5 years is set because you have 20 months of internship and you have your classes. So it would have been really hard to play golf there, even if it could have been logistically worked out. So I would say, I would have loved to have that opportunity to do that, to play competitively, but I just made the decision not to do it. And growing up with Stewart, I knew that what it took to be a great player. And he was the best player at our club since he was 13 years old. Nobody could beat him. So.
Well,
But you did, though.
I did a couple times.
Next time I see him, I'll mention that.
Yeah, please.
Very cool.
I was going to say,
we
we had Stewart on. What just an absolutely humbling and just down to earth, genuinely great guy. No wonder he worked out. I texted him after the U.S. Senior Open and said, "Man, I was heartbroken." He goes, "Don't be." He goes, "That was a blast." Yeah. And that just tells you his personality and his just his demeanor. I was pulling for him obviously over there for the Open, and really was hoping that he'd be playing the weekend and stuff like that.
So you must have been one of the few people like me that when he won the Open against Tom Watson, you were actually cheering for Stuart Sink and not Tom Watson.
Very, very much so. Yeah.
Me too. Me too at 150 to 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Me too, so was I.
The year after that, I was studying abroad in Scotland in 2010, went to the Open at St. Andrews, and I was there on Tuesday or something like that. And it was pouring rain. He was out there practicing putting, and we were the only 2 people. Like no one was standing out there, and I was just watching him putt. And I asked for his autograph, and he came and gave me his. I still have it in my office. Yeah. And I said, man, nasty day out here. And he goes, nasty. He goes, we're at St. Andrews. Doesn't get any better than this.
That's where you're
kind
supposed
of the
to.
exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's like it was very cool. It was like a good.
Yep.
I have ever since that moment he's been one of my favorites. So it's been fun to get to know
great guy.
Chad.
Yeah. So I mean, growing up together, we played a lot of golf with each other and against each other, but we worked together and we became really close, even though we went to different high schools. And I remember on Christmas Day every year, my dad and I and he and his dad would go play just to get out of the house. We probably played on days where we shouldn't have played, maybe damage some greens, walk in when it was frost, but we would just get out of the house and the four of us would go play every Christmas Day, like all the way through high school. We were talking about that the other day, and it just, the memories of what the relationships you can form on the golf course are so rich, and I just don't know another activity that you can really do that. We played a ton of golf together, and and we love to do other things together too, cook barbecue,
And
etc.
I was going to say, there's a little business that you guys have going on.
Well, business is maybe a bit of a strong
Is
word.
that a stretch a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife is a retired accountant, and she says we can't call ourselves a business if we don't make any money.
Yeah.
But
That's fair. We're a
but I-
podcast. We don't make any money.
I remember in accounting there was this term called goodwill, and I was like, we're creating goodwill, and so that's got to count for something.
Right.
But we love to. We haven't competed in a while, but we have a competitive barbecue team.
Okay.
Called Q School, QUE School.
Yeah.
Very
Great.
good.
Nice.
Very
Great
good.
pun.
Very clever.
Where do we find this? How do we find this?
You follow us on. I don't remember the last time we posted on Instagram, but it's we're on there. But we would like our smokers right behind the clubhouse right now with their logo on it.
Well, when are we going to
So I
get
gotta
that?
ask-
When do we get to try
Maybe
that?
next media day.
When do we
What do
get
you
to-
want?
Wait a minute, yeah.
You want chicken? You want pork? You want brisket? What do you
Yes.
want?
I remember a couple of years ago, the players were going to a barbecue event. It was Chad involved in that?
Great question. I think that predates me, so I don't know.
okay.
He probably know better than
We
me.
used to smoke ribs for the caddies every single year on Tuesday, and we would get big green egg. We'd get 4 of them, the XLs, and we put them right behind the clubhouse, and it got to be a little bit much. We had the rules guys coming in. We had some players coming in.
Is this on the Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd have it
That's
for like a
awesome.
late
Well,
afternoon.
there's one thing about the Memphis event on the range on a Wednesday. You talk about some good
Yeah.
ribs. You talk about some good barbecue on
Dang
the
right.
Good
range.
food there, huh?
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was that in New Orleans. You talk about some food on the range.
I got to ask this, though. Do you serve the pickles with it?
I don't know, but I do make homemade dill pickles. Give them away. Thought about doing it as a business, and it kind of just too much regulation, and I already have a full-time job, so
It's a Renaissance man.
yeah.
Tell you,
I was
does
gonna say,
he does
he's a
everything.
chef.
doesn't he?
He's a Renaissance
chef.
man.
I tell ya.
He's a
Yeah.
barbecue.
How do you fit all this
He's
in?
he's full of surprises.
No. Like I said, I'm on day
Sings
0.
he sings mean
I
karaoke.
got wine
You're on day
going.
0.
Does karaoke.
He sings mean karaoke, so I've heard. I haven't seen that in person.
Karaoke, too?
Yeah, I'm not as good as you are, Alex, but I will try it. Yeah, I will give it my all. Whatever I'm doing, I'll give it my all.
Well, and it's also, though, going back to Stuart, it's how great is it that you have now spent almost 30 years here at Eastlake, and your best friend lives right here in town, Georgia Tech, and then obviously now him and his wife live right in Midtown
That's
over
right.
there. So
He doesn't live at Sugarloaf anymore. I know.
They moved in a few years ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and both his sons and their wives. I mean, they're all here in Atlanta now.
what a
so.
great family! I got a chance to walk with the family while we were out at Sugarloaf for the Mitsubishi. What
Yep.
a great group. Okay, so I've got to ask you this: mentors. Who was your mentor growing up as you got into this business, and how what brought you here? How did you get involved with Eastlake?
Mentor, Chris Burns would definitely be on the list. My dad would be on the list. A lot of guys that were members at Florence Country Club, people that I served as a cart guy, pull you aside and say, hey, have you thought about this or that? That, again, the relationships you can build through golf, and if you lean into them, can open a lot of doors. So I would kind of put the environment that I grew up in as a mentor. And then in the business, I've worked for some really good guys, been to some good places. I worked for Mark Darnell at Westlake, as an intern, basically washing clubs and parking carts, but I learned a lot of stuff over there. Worked for Butch Bird at North River before I moved here, and so I just picked up things along the way. But the way I got here was from a fellow classmate at Mississippi State was working here, and my wife and I. Well, my wife had graduated from Alabama graduate school. She had a job here. So we were moving here regardless.
You were coming.
And so I networked with Dick Murphy at Peachtree and his brother Dan at Cherokee and Rick Anderson at the Athletic Club, and Jim Gerber was here. Came over like in February and just met them all.
Yeah.
Just, shaking hands and passing out resumes, and they had an opening here. It was August when I moved here, which is not a good time to be looking for,
I hear it's warm out here.
yeah. Well, it's just that people have their season. They got their
you're at
staff
the
set.
end, you're at the
And
end of the
so-
season. Yep.
But I mean, we were just finding our way when I started here. There was a lot of things that needed to happen. So, was given a chance to become an assistant, and 6 months later, I was promoted to head professional, and been here ever since.
Yeah, here we are.
It's awesome.
So was
awesome.
the mission of the club the same? It's
the
always
reason-
been that way.
That's the reason I'm still here.
And your support of the Eastlake Foundation. How does that? I mean, I know we just talked about it during the media coverage earlier. Give us a little walkthrough of your relationship with the folks at the foundation.
Well, if you look at what the club's motto, golf with a purpose, I mean, it meant something in '95, and it means something a little different today. But we're doing great things through golf. I mean, the Tour Championship has given how many millions?
63 plus million.
63 million has been raised for charity just by hosting the event. So just start with that, and how that's being reinvested in people's lives are changing. And so our relationship with them really is to host these events, but also just to spread the word about the good work that they're doing. So Illy, who you guys heard speak, and I, when we have monthly, we talk a lot. And the charitable piece and the business piece are one and the same. And as recently as this year, we have fully leaned into making our junior golf program at Eastlake the best there is anywhere. So we've got a high school right across the street. We've got 40 kids in our JV and our varsity and junior varsity program. We've got golf being worked into PE starting this year, starting Wednesday.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
so
is
starting
awesome.
at third, fourth, and fifth grade, we're using the PGA of America's ADM model in terms of the training. And so we want to get the third, fourth, and fifth graders ready for JV. And then we're partnering with a guy from Australia that runs Golf House, Jamie Arnold.
No, Jamie Arnold.
Yeah, so they're doing the instruction piece for us.
He was a golf. It's
a cool place.
Golf pro, Jamie Arnold. Yeah.
Yeah, so
House
we
is
partnered
cool
with
place.
them to have an off-season program to get the kids ready because the season's in the spring. And so we're fully committed. That's somebody that's running that as a direct report to me. And so that is something that we, like if you look at the emails that come in, 10 to 15% of the emails are on junior golf. How do we do this? How can we get this? I mean, getting the PE into the school we started in February, and we just got it all worked out like 3 weeks ago, just from the scheduling and who's going to teach it and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, it is a fully integrated model, and everybody here has a little bit different job, but they're all here for the same reason.
And so speaking of junior golf, the Kilti Cup.
This weekend.
Coming up. How did that get started?
We had a couple of members, Chuck Palmer and Doug Hertz, and a few others that had an affinity for junior golf, had an affinity for Scotland, had an affinity for the history of who Kilti was, Stuart Maiden, who was the first professional here. He was the guy that Bobby Jones watched play golf. He probably helped him with his swing. And his nickname was Kilti the Kingmaker. And so he had started his career at Carnoustie, and so the idea was, could we take, a tournament that has the top 4 boys and girls from Georgia and play the top 4 boys and girls from Scotland, and then have it rotate every 2 years between Georgia and Scotland. So
That's awesome.
we loved, hey, we want to be first. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and somebody's got to say yes, right? And so GSGA is a fantastic partner of ours, and I know Alex too. And we've done a lot of really neat things with them. And so when this idea came forward, we were like, when we just need to figure out when we can, get it done. And I think they're going to love being out here with all the stands.
Oh yeah.
And that's going to be real. I think they're getting here tomorrow. The kids
That's
from
awesome.
Scotland are getting here tomorrow. They're going to go to a Braves game. They're going to go to the aquarium. They're going to, play a few other nice places in town. So.
That's awesome.
I heard you have a few tours and kind of set up for them.
I said you guys got to take them to Bobby Jones' grave, which is right down Memorial.
Oh,
and
is it
go,
really?
And go eat
Yeah.
6 feet under.
Great place.
Great place. I said just literally it is right across the street from 6 feet under.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, right. I mean, his grave is if you're looking at his headstone, the wall and the memorial.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's-
I've been
I
to
mean-
6 foot under a bunch of times.
So there's a gate right there. That you go through the gate and turn left, and you go down the inside sidewalk. I go there every year on the anniversary of his death and just spend a couple minutes there.
There you go. Now you've got me fascinated. I will go check that out.
I'm telling you,
We'll go check that out.
And that's
It's,
the thing.
that's 3 miles from here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one
Or
thing
less.
when Mick and I sat down before we even started the podcast, and you know, obviously we've got great stories. Mick's got great stories from, you know, inside the ropes, from a tour, European tour at that time, now DP, you know, the women's tour. But we talk about what is going on from anyone that's teeing it up competitively. You know, obviously we call it the tips because most of the time, and we just were kind of joking about it before we came on, you know, the creators for the Creator Classic, they're playing a little forward today, playing about what, 6,700 yards?
Yep, maybe. Yep.
They're going to be playing well over 7,000, 74, I think.
74-40.
plus, yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to tell those stories, and that's the part that I'm glad you were able to join today, because the Kilti Club is one of those things that, as you know, Mick and I continue to help tell the stories of the game, we want those stories to also be told. So we'll bring you back on, because we want to hear how it goes and how it's going, and then what we can do to continue to you know, forward the message. So
Yeah, I'm going to do
speak.
some research onto that after this weekend. That's really got me intrigued. That's got me interested a lot.
I think that, I mean, as the role of the operator in all of this is you have to say yes to things.
Yeah.
And, you know, the accessibility in golf is a huge issue, especially in certain parts of the world, and people that either don't have finances or whatever it is. And so if we want the sport to continue on the trajectory that it's on, you have to say yes to some things. And then for us, you know, the partnerships, if it's important to a partner, you want to try to find a way to make it work. You know, another thing we can talk about if I come on is we created a fellowship with the GSGA this year in honor of a guy named Bill Blaylock.
Yeah.
And so the idea was, we have so much here in Georgia. So let's create a fellowship to where they'll get 2 weeks with us. They'll get 2 weeks at Charlie Yates. They'll get 2 weeks with the Superstore. They'll get 2 weeks with the GSGA. They'll get 2 weeks with the Georgia PGA. They're going to spend some time with Alex and his team.
That's awesome.
And so we got 2 fellows. I mean, next week is the last week. So these 2 kids in college that we hope maybe one day want to work in golf. You know, and so we just started that this year, just out of thin air. Just decided to do it.
awesome.
And so, you know, it's called the Blaylock Fellowship. And again, somebody's got to say yes. Somebody's got to put the work in. And Matt at the GSGA has been a great partner.
And
So-
registration for that is online through the GSGA.
The fellowship, yes.
Yeah.
They promote it through all the ways. I'm not up to speed on how people recruit nowadays, so
That's all right. Mick, we got Twitch going on over here.
Yeah.
Mick's still getting used to Twitch.
yeah.
There's,
He's also big on TikTok.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me
sure.
too. I'm all
didn't know anything about it. I
So anyway,
I only had to join 2 weeks ago.
No,
I appreciate you indulging that, because it's
Well,
it's
no,
important
it's-
that
it
you say
is.
you say yes to stuff like that.
I think
It's well
that
said.
it's our responsibility. It's our job right now where we're at, and our influence, no matter what we're doing. You know, obviously, me being on at a sports station here locally in Atlanta, never was dreamed of an opportunity like this. But then, you know, my passion, you know, just spending some time with the folks from First Tee out there. They just announced the kids, and I'll let that message get out in the right channels, not on the podcast. But those are the things that, you know, just asking, how can we help? You know, how do we get involved? And telling the story starts. And then, as you said, somebody saying yes.
Somebody's got to say yes.
So let me ask you this: from a club perspective, obviously the membership has to buy in. Is this really a part of the overall mission of the club? Then is to continue to grow it from that perspective.
It is, especially, you know, if you can highlight competition at every level. And for us, with Eastlake Cup, it's male and female, which is it's part of our history with Bobby Jones and Alexa Sterling. And, you know, it's important to have opportunities for both. So we want to celebrate amateur golf. I mean, Bobby Jones was never a professional. And so, you know, we've already announced, this is not, you know, breaking news, that we have plans to host the State Am. We have plans to host the Ladies State Am. In future years, we got on the calendar in years that we thought made some sense. And we got buy-in and say, okay, we're going to do this because we can do this. And how can we help elevate the game at the highest level, but how can we also teach it to third graders? You know, how can I create people that want to come work for me?
Yeah.
and especially if they're from a diverse population, people that have opportunities to learn about golf. I had Chris Burns. Not everybody has that. And so I think it's our job, my job, and Alex, I think will second this. Your life view is formed through those experiences, and somebody has to give them to you.
Now, are you still a teaching professional, or have you kind of set that aside and
There's some people that will, I pay to not tell them I teach them.
we won't name names then. Yeah.
I try to I do still teach a little bit, but
Yeah.
I was the head professional for almost 20 years.
Okay.
So there's a few guys that I still teach, and I will, at times, but I try to leave that to Dan and our team, our current team.
Yeah, you got a pretty good head pro now.
Got a
here
great guy,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
All right, biggest challenge that you have faced as running the club in your tenure?
COVID. No.
Hands down. Not a renovation that took place where you tore up every ounce of sod. COVID.
Well, that was the most stressful.
Okay.
COVID was because nobody was ready for it. Every single thing that you did, there was no blueprint.
Yeah.
The renovation, we had 3 years to plan.
Yeah, COVID was just, it was this.
Correct.
This is what's happening.
Can you touch the flag stick or not? I mean, whoever thought that would be something you would have to think about?
Yeah.
Pool noodles.
Still killed me.
Pool noodles, exactly.
Noodles. Yeah, go figure
It still kills me. I can't putt with the flag in, so I was done during COVID. I hate putting with the flag in.
Me too.
Hate it.
I'm not
mean,
good
it
with
just-
I'm a
flags
traditionalist.
either.
It has to
I'm
come
the
out.
same.
I don't care if it's 20 feet or 3 feet.
can't
Please
do
take
it.
that flag out. I
I-
cannot do it.
I'm with you on that.
Can't do
But I
it.
think that was the biggest challenge because
Yeah.
it really, there for a while, I mean, it was scary. I mean, you started thinking about, is this ever going to change? I mean, are we going to get past this? I mean, it was just a lot of uncertainty.
So you talked about the stress of the renovation. How was it, obviously as the leader of the club, your staff, what was that like going through that process? I know Mick and I talked about that. Like, as a matter of fact, we spent some time with Kerr and David today, our four caddies out there today. They separated to go to different places and worked at different clubs. How was that for you with that part, and then how did you get them to come back,
The caddies was a difficult piece, but we obviously the agronomy staff was going to stay because there was plenty of work for them to do. And then
Grass is still growing.
Oh yeah,
right.
still have to, and there was
Doesn't make
plenty
a
to do.
difference.
too.
Yeah.
Plenty to do. And then we decided to keep all of the clubhouse staff and pay them
Okay.
during the renovation. It made that part of our budget that, my point of view to our leadership was, we're going to run these guys ragged to the tournament, and then we're going to close, and they're going to reopen at the tournament. I said, I can't have a bunch of new people for that. We got one chance to get this right. So we kept everybody. The caddies obviously were a different story. There was no work for them. And so, what we decided to do, we kind of talked about doing a bonus to stay or to come back. And what we decided to do is just give everybody a bonus based on their tenure. And gave them the full amount, no strings attached. We'd love for you to come back. And if you had 30 years in, you got a pretty substantial bonus, even if you had 1 year. And then I think we got about 72% of our guys came back. We'll have 10 to 15% that leave anyway because they're at school or whatever it is. So we were thrilled to get that level percentage back.
How many caddies do you have?
About 115-ish.
What's the age range roughly for the?
Gosh, 18 is the youngest, and I'm trying to think who the oldest would be. Probably early 60s, I'm guessing, maybe older.
Oh, there's still hope for me.
You got a
Yeah,
chance, Mick.
Still, I just got to
I
need
told
another.
you.
I need another leg.
Got to carry 2 bags.
Mick,
2 bags.
Oh no, sir, I've done that before.
Mick did say that he would never be able to work for the club because he would tell the member that. You want to use the words that you used?
No. You can pass it on.
Okay.
I can guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this kind of will morph into for both of you guys. How would you both, or how would you each describe your working relationship with Eastlake and the tour?
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You go first, yep.
Man, it's such an important relationship between a PGA Tour event and its host site. And I've been here for 3 events, coming on 4, so it has existed long before me. I know Chad's been around for I think all of them. And what's really great is that I think we align in values. And so Chad talks about the purpose and the mission of the golf course. That's been closely aligned from day one with the PGA Tour. That is what we're all about as well. So you start with a shared viewpoint on how the game affects the community that we're in and the positive good that we're able to do through the tournament, through the course. It makes having day-to-day conversations a lot easier because you're working from a place of mutual agreement. We also love the history of what I think is really great about the Tour Championship is this mixture of the origins and the history of the game of golf. Bobby Jones, and you're talking about Kilti and those relationships, and Alexa Sterling, and all these origin stories of the game of golf. It's what makes our game so great. It has a longer history than so many other sports. But also the modern history of the game for the last 25 years, and then even more so since 2007 when we launched the FedEx Cup. It's occupied this really cool space in there, and I think it's fun to be able to work. I mean, to have a host site like this that has that kind of touch point to the biggest figures in the game of golf. Bobby Jones is certainly on the Mount Rushmore of whatever you're creating in terms of most important people in the history of the game of golf. So you have all these shared things, and it just makes for a wonderful working relationship. I would say Chad and I talk very regularly. We don't always agree, on day-to-day things, but it's never for any reason other than we just have to solve a problem. Yeah. And that, to me, is the mark of great partnership. Right. And I just enjoy Chad as a person as well, and it's just team's a joy to work with. I mean, our office is literally, I can almost see it from where I'm sitting. It's 185 yards that way, which is, I don't know what club that is for Mick.
It'll be a lot now.
This leg
might be 2 shots.
A full 6.
Yeah. Point is, we're close. We're right there,
and yards or meters?
And it's awesome. I consider his team an extension of mine, and I would imagine hopefully he feels the same about ours. So it's a great relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that I look at it, as I said, our job is to create the stage, and so the stage is worked on at various times throughout the whole year. Whether that's where the staging is for, build out or roadways or changes to the golf course or whatever it is, we try to take the information that the tour wants in terms of how they want it to be and knowing what it's going to take to host it and kind of put all that in the mix. And so, Alex is right. I mean, if you don't enter into those kind of discussions and with a sense of partnership, then it makes the conversations hard, no matter what you're talking about. And so as long as obviously there's different points of view on how we get to certain things, and we don't always do what we would love to do, but we make it work because at the end of the day, the tournament's coming, and everybody has budget, everybody has accountability for things, and we try to do what's best for the event in terms of how to host it, and but understand our role. I think that's really the most important thing. I would think that that the tour likes about coming to a place that has hosted an event is what it takes. A lot of places you go to, they don't know what it really takes to host an event, and there's a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of things that you have to endure, especially in the build out phase, to make it work. But
I was going to say, just being out there today, just watching obviously normal maintenance. And obviously we're out here on a Monday, so the club would normally be closed. So this was always a great day for the maintenance crew to get those things fixed. The amount of carts running around with structure material has got to be it's an ongoing process. It's 7 days a week.
It is.
What would you guys say when I ask you this? Obviously, the Tour Championship has grown dramatically in stature and in visibility. What do you think has led to that growth, and what do you think is the future of what the Tour Championship is going to look like here at Eastlake?
Growth, any great tour event, it starts with a couple of things. One is the venue where you play. So we've just touched on that.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful venue, and it's great to host. It's in a great spot, and you have occasional operational issues with parking and stuff, but you're in a city, you're going to have that no matter where.
We're in Atlanta.
Correct. The market is really important, and Atlanta's a special place. It's a golf town. There's a lot of love for the game of golf in the city of Atlanta. There's a lot of people that they have touch points to the Masters and other events that are nearby. It's a golf state. It's all the reasons like Chad's talking about relationships with the GSGA and all this great stuff. So as long as you can have couple of those things kind of rowing in the same direction, and then you couple that with local partners, right? You need people to help foot the bill for everything to help grow it on that level. And with partners like Accenture and Southern Company and Coca-Cola, these mammoths of companies, and we have a new partnership with Delta. Like it's these wonderful companies in this city that support this event. You start to be able to do more and more and more, and fans notice that stuff, and they say, "Oh wow!" Like if you come to the tournament this year in 2025 and you hadn't been here since 2022 even. But go back to 2015. I remember when I first started coming here when I was on the communications team, it doesn't even look like the same place. And it's because of local support, community support, player support, I think is a huge piece. We talk about how the players talk about this place and they talk about the FedEx Cup and all that kind of stuff. I think that stature just continues to grow, and it's a snowballing effect. You have more moments. It starts to pick up. It's the same stuff we were talking about with the major championship discussion. The longer it exists and the more tradition and history you create, the more it kind of grows on itself and it becomes bigger than when it started.
I mean, because it's still relatively new when you think about it. I mean, I caddied in the first FedEx Cup playoff, and I still remember talking to caddies and players, and no one was really sure. How long is this going to last? Is it a good idea? No one, and it wasn't that long ago.
No.
And how quickly it's grown and how quickly the fans have taken to it and understand it and go, yeah, it's really been a phenomenal effort by everybody to get it to where it is in really such a short amount of time.
And it has room to grow, certainly. And
absolutely. It's only going to get bigger and bigger.
Again, you have to say yes to stuff.
Yeah.
You have to do things. And to try to make it better, you have to put effort towards it.
Because there's one thing, and I mean, obviously being out and talking to people with golf, people love coming to this event. I mean, even the people, I can't wait. I've already got tickets. I'm excited. I can't wait to get there. It's just, and it really is. It's like, outside of the Masters, a lot of people talk about this event. They really, really do in Georgia.
Biggest logistical challenge on tournament week? I'm going to start with Chad. Golf carts.
Yeah. Caddies and players hate them.
Necessary evil.
Necessary evil. Absolutely necessary evil, though. But there's one thing a caddy will have. He has his head on a swivel when they're out there, because you know they're coming. They're going to be out there, and it's just the way it is. It's just they have to be there.
They have to be there. It's a tough thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Parking's too easy. I mention it every time.
Yeah.
That's always a challenge. Well, we've got I think we've gotten into a pretty good spot plan-wise. The thing that gives me the most, worry is the thing I can control the least, which is the weather.
Oh, yeah.
The weather.
Just what, you always think about worst case scenarios, and safety's at the forefront of everything we do. And so it's a lot of people. We have a wonderful event.
There's a lot of
attracts
things
a lot of people, and we have a lot of
things-
volunteers, and we have players.
Yeah. And there's a lot of logistics that, like people don't understand. It's like these guys are already making logistical plans just in case it's a Monday finish.
Yeah.
It could be a Tuesday finish. You never know. You talk about throwing some curveballs at you.
Or not finishing a round and having to start early and then repair. But now we have to serve
We did that a
breakfast.
couple years ago.
Yeah, a little earlier now, and with
Yeah.
with 30 players, sometimes that could be probably a little bit easier than a full field event. When all of a sudden, it's like, and that's why they cut the field sizes in certain events. Because I remember being out in waste management, mate, they never finished. There was always darkness the first
Especially
and
before
second
daylight
round.
savings,
Always.
those Q1 events.
There was always 7 groups that never finished. You're like, why is this a full field event? But
That's a good point. I mean,
And I know you've touched on it the last time you were on. What should fans know coming into 2025 to the Tour Championship? What's new? I know we touched. You actually touched on it earlier today. Youth.
Yeah.
Youth discount, military.
Yeah, we've got a few I could probably go. You talk about a topic I could go on for way longer than you. I'm sure you guys.
Yeah, you guys are probably
hear.
busy anyway. You probably got
There's
things
a lot.
to do.
You're going to drain
this
Slim's batteries
this
over
is
here.
the
on
beautiful-
camera.
this is
Well, they've
the
probably
beautiful-
got things to do anyway. So
This is the beautiful thing, is that there's always a ton of new stuff every year. Because if we're not getting better, then it's stagnant. And we'll make a list every year of 5 big things we can change, 10 medium things, and 20 small things. And if you're doing that every year, you have continued positive momentum. And so, one thing, it's not necessarily changed, but we do have a new partner with Accenture. One of our proud partners is supporting our youth tickets, which I think is a unique thing in sports, which is 2 kids, 15 and under, get in free with a ticketed adult. That's how you introduce kids to the game of golf. We're talking about growing the game. I got introduced to the game as a kid in Columbus, Ohio, attending the Memorial Tournament. That was my first introduction to golf, and I saw Tiger Woods in person, and I thought he was the coolest person alive, and now I work in professional golf. Without that event, I'm not sitting here, so I have no idea. Very much, I feel a personal sense of when I see a kid out here, I'm like, who knows? Maybe that kid's going to be sitting in my chair one day.
It's how I got into caddying, watching the
very
Australian
cool.
Open in Australia. Yep. And I remember watching a caddy come up, having a caddy basically walk in front of him, and I was saying to my dad, I wonder how you get that job. And lo and behold, here I was.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
doable.
like, well,
It's
and
attainable.
I still remember the player. I remember it clearly. And then and all of a sudden, 15 years, I did it for 15 years. It was wild.
Yeah, so the youth ticket, and thanks to Accenture for that, is a good way for us to give back to the game, and it's get kids involved, and that includes an autograph sponsorship for our autograph zone, which is you have to be under a certain height, which we love. Get the kids to the front of the
Mick,
line.
you're out.
That's not true, because I actually got one from Ricky Fowler down here one time when I was giving him grief.
Did you duck? Would you duck under the?
Actually, he gave. I said, I want your hat. He goes, you can have it.
He ducked under the sign.
Actually, he gave me his hat autographed, and I gave it to some kid, and the kid was like beside himself. So I was like,
That's awesome.
But man, so many great activations out here. We've got our So Cool Zone where our fan shop is. That's in partnership with Southern
Love that
Company.
area.
We've got our Coca-Cola Lounge on 5 Green, which is open to the public. Lots of great stuff for families to do in there. New covered bleacher. It's been there on number 1, but sponsored by Delta now in our starter lounge and the public bleacher there. We have a new covered fan deck, the Delta Sky Miles deck. So if you have a Sky Miles account, which a few people in this town do.
I was going to say a few might.
But I think that's really cool for the kids, though, and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because, I mean, you want to bring your kids out. There's a lot of time the kids are going to come out, but they're going to get it's a tough place to walk.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to walk, so they're going to want to do other little activities around the way. And to keep them interested in golf, you have those smaller activities for them to do that.
So Cool Zone will have the Georgia Aquarium. There'll be some animals in there. Like, you
that
keep
sort of
people.
thing.
We see this as almost like a festival and a public event more than just a golf tournament.
Yeah.
It's an event, and if you love golf, this is a great place. It's a wonderful place to see golf very close comparatively to a lot of tour events. But if golf, you're like, hey, is this something I should go to? We've got all kinds of other fun stuff to do. It's a great place to come enjoy the day. And then guess what? You're probably going to accidentally see some golf, and then you might find you like it, and now you're watching every Sunday, and then you're watching Saturdays, and then that's the gateway to watching Thursdays and Fridays, and that's when you're a big time golf
Dad,
fan.
get me over to the golf course.
Exactly right.
Yep.
So I would say those are certainly big pieces for us this year. There's a lot more than that. People can certainly learn more at tourchampionship.com from the ground up in terms of what's out here.
All right, guys, last one. We're a month out. Who's lifting the FedEx Cup?
Who's first?
Who wants to go first?
Scotty Scheffler.
You already picked that on December 14th.
Have you heard of him? He's an up-and-coming player. He'll be all right.
Chad?
I agree with that pick.
Yeah.
but-
Stuart Sink. I'm not sure he's in the field.
Yeah.
He's not going. He's not going.
Currently not qualified.
Crowd favorite, though.
I tell you what, he'd get an invite.
Crowd favorite.
Mate,
No,
do you have an official starter? Couldn't he be the official starter? Couldn't he hit the first tee shot?
That'd be
he
fun.
could. Yeah.
He's
That'd be
usually
up to-
busy playing that time of year.
That'd be up to Alex.
He's
yeah.
got he's
Yeah,
he's a
Stuart,
competitive
have
man on
Stuart, the
PGA Tour
ambassador out here,
Champions.
hit the
Well,
first tee shot.
you've got your official announcer
competitive
with Arthur
guy.
Blank here
Yeah.
at 18.
Yeah, we do have Arthur out here one of the
Yeah.
days,
Yeah, he
and
probably
representatives
would-
from our
he
other
probably
crowd
would do it.
partners on other days for sure. Zach Klein out on the first tee
All right,
usually.
I'm not letting Chad off the hook, though.
He's-
no,
yeah,
no,
right.
he moved on.
He waits.
We're not in a.
Scotty,
all-
he said Scotty.
I said Scotty.
He
You're
said
gonna go Scotty.
Yeah.
All right, Justin Thomas.
JT.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
stick. I'm
don't
sticking
get him
with my.
excited over there.
I'm gonna go Justin Thomas.
We
I
talked
think it's
about
gonna
this
click.
last week.
It's gonna click for him at some point, and
I'm actually going with the guy that I said I'd rather hang out with, and that's Rory McIlroy.
there you go. Number 4, I think, would be for
He'd be
him
my
if he
number
won
2
here.
pick.
Yeah, he'd be my number.
I think
two.
he's
He'd be my
won
number 2.
Yeah.
But just because he's
thought he
played
had
well here,
played
so
5.
and he's
I don't think he has
nice
5.
guy. He's playing good too.
Maybe it's 4 already. I think it's 3.
We'll figure that
We'll
out.
figure that out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for teeing up with us. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, do all the things. Drop us a comment, let us know how we're doing. You can find Tales from the Tips wherever you find your favorite podcast, especially out on social media. We are on Instagram, X, Mick's favorite TikTok. You can now watch this episode and all of our episodes live on Twitch. And make sure you check out YouTube for our shorts and updated content. Guys, Keep your drive straight, your putt short, and your scores low as we tee it up on Tales from the Tips. We'll see you next time.